Hello everybody and welcome to Green Star Trading with me, Tom. All views, opinions and ideas expressed in this video are my own and do not constitute financial or trading advice in any way. Right, for the next few minutes we're going to be looking at a few altcoins. We're going to be looking at XRP, doing a quick update, looking at ADA, Cardano, doing a quick update, and we're also going to spend a few minutes looking at Shiba Inu, Shib coin. Now you might ask yourself, why are you looking at that, Tom? It's a meme. Yeah, well, I had a few hundred quid lying around on an exchange the other day that wasn't worth withdrawing to any bank account, so I just threw it at Shib for a laugh, you know, for the memes. And that was back on October 2nd, and it has since pumped like 300-400%. So I feel kind of obligated now to make sense of it on some technical level. So we'll spend at least 5 minutes looking at the chart and trying to put something together. But it does essentially look like two vertical lines, one down and one up at the moment. Wish I could go back in a time machine and throw 20k at it now, but hindsight's wonderful, isn't it? Anyway, let's get on with XRP now and see what we're dealing with. So, quick update for XRP. We're in log scale of a day time frame here, and I think we're building a giant primary wave 3 extension. And it works like this: primary wave 1 pivot, 1, 2. Yeah, you can see how this pitchfork looks pretty nice. We've got quite a lot of activity around here prior to the placement of the actual pivot itself. Then we've got tests and back tests around the median line, around the 61.8, around the median line again, down to this 61.8, back around the median line. So this is in play and still dictating support and resistance. After that we go into the intermediate 1-2 here. So we've got primary 1-2, intermediate 1-2. You could argue you've got support here before the arrival of the actual pivot as well. Test of a 61.8 here, another sticking point here, back test of a 61.8 here, hanging around it. Haven't come up to the median line yet though. And then after this pitchfork we'll be moving into minor wave degree. Sorry, that's minute wave degree, I've mislabeled that. This is minor wave degree, so if this is correct, we've completed a wave 2 and we're now going to head higher in a minor 3, of an intermediate 3, of a primary 3, and price will just explode higher, essentially, if this is correct. So let's now zoom in to the more recent price action, have a look at the count. Okay, so just close this down for a moment. So what have we got here then? 5 wave move up into a 1, and then a zigzag into a 2. Complete. So that looks kind of good, you know, looks pretty solid. Dodgy correction here, could be a WXY. The C does ever so slightly go beyond the A when you come into a smaller time frame and have a look. The B does not retrace 90%, so it's not a flat. It looks like a more of a sideways zigzag. Has the structure of a zigzag on a smaller time frame, but doesn't complete like one, and it retraces deeper than one, but it's not a flat. Whereas this is, the ABC back here is an expanding flat, so there's still alternation, it's just a little peculiar. Yeah, it does make me wonder if this isn't part of some broader correction, that this is a move, this is a move, and this is a move, like a WXY, and maybe we've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, with a 5 to come. I don't like it, to be honest, but it's an option. I'm going to stick with the idea that this is 1 into 2 though, and now we're going 1, 2, 1, 2, and the 3, and we're going to go higher. I will remain bullish and continue to support this count for as long as these lows hold here. If these lows hold, and we continue to go higher low, higher low, higher high, higher low, I'm going to stay bullish in here and continue with this count. It is possible it's wrong, of course, so that we've got some kind of 3-wave move here, we're going to have some kind of 3-wave move here, maybe a 5-wave move here for a flat, or maybe it'll be WXY, ABC, 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 maybe something like that. But for the meantime, like I said, for as long as these lows hold, I'm going to stick with this idea. What I do find reassuring about it is if we just bring up our fib retracement here, we can see that in log scale we came back to the 50%. Very typical wave 2 target, and if we come off of log scale into linear scale, we literally get a to the tick touch of the golden ratio at 61.8, which is the yellow line here, straight down to the golden ratio, kissed it, 1, 2, 1, 2, now moving higher. So I find that reassuring. If we do some basic technical analysis before we leave the count here and we bring up our moving averages, I've only left one on the chart at the moment, which is the 250, which we can see on the daily time frame is providing support. Like so, we came down to it. Let's just throw the rest of them on in the meantime. Excuse me, need to click on the options. 10, 20, 60 in orange. So we've had crossover all through the 60, and we've since had the 10 and the 20 cross back above the 60, with the 250 still trending upwards and the 60 now turning upwards as well. For as long as we get another pop higher into another, so we've gone 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, then it's still looking bullish. If we suddenly collapse from here and break these moving averages, take out these lows, then we need to reconsider. But like I said, for as long as those lows hold, I'm going to remain bullish. On the weekly time frame, looking at the long-term picture of XRP, we're currently back above the 10 exponential moving average on the weekly time frame. Bit of a doji candle at the moment, neither bullish nor bearish. It is Friday, we'll see how the weekly candle closes. We've got this at the 60 here, the orange line operated as major support on the weekly time frame back here. And the 250 operated as major support back here. So we're still a long way off the 60 and the 250 here. And let's have a quick look at our momentum indicators. Okay, so we had a cooling off of momentum on the MACD here on the weekly time frame. Still in positive territory above the zero bound. Slight little red bar on histogram here. Slightly flat momentum here. We'd like to see this return to positive and to make another push higher. Neutral territory currently in the RSI. No divergence over the long time frame to speak of. This is a high and this is a lower high, and they're in sync with one another. Unlike this high and this lower high here, which led to a high and a high high, which led to this huge correction here. So that's divergence I consider to have played out. Yeah, so we're just waiting for this to turn positive. Let's come down to the day time frame. On the daily time frame, we've got the average back above the zero bound on the MACD. We can see here the little blue line. Haven't yet pulled the signal up into the positive territory yet. Green bars and histograms starting to cool off a little bit, but as we've seen before, we get these bright green bars, cool off for a bit, bright green bars. So when we do get into these bullish moves, we can see how they can easily escalate and continue to extend. So we would like to see some bright green bars on the histogram and a thrust back above the zero bound for the signal and the average together. We're still in neutral territory here in the RSI. Plenty of room to run into overbought territory if we do suddenly pop, and we can stay overbought for a significant amount of time. On the daily time frame back here, the 250 was support, and as I recently mentioned, we are currently trading above the 10, the 20 and the 60, having with the 10 and the 20 having crossed back over here on the daily time frame. So all good. Right then, so I think that's XRP, so let's come over and have a look at ADA. Okay, so ADA's been doing something completely different from all the other alts. It went off and made a new high while Bitcoin was still well in the depths of correction. So it put in another high while everybody else wasn't. So that's a pretty significant difference, and therefore I do have got a different count going on here with ADA. If we just look at the long-term geometry again, this is the primary pivot I'm using. So primary 1 and 2, and everything else is being contained inside of here. We get a throw over in the 3 of the 3, and we get a throw over in the 3 as well. So intermediate degree and minor degree, a lot of bullish sentiment going on here. I'll tell you what, let's just have a quick look at the volume here. So huge volume in the wave 3 here, as we'd expect to see. In the 3 of the 3 we get massive volume, so that's cool. I think that was the 3 of the 3 given the sheer amount of momentum, meaning that this is the 3, this is the 4, and now I think we're going to extend into a wave 5, of which we may have completed intermediate 1 and 2. I'm not completely sure, because Cardano has run off and done something different. We may be able to continue to do something different while the rest of the market moves up. It may need to cool off while Bitcoin continues to gain ground. I'll have to wait and see. So we're going to come in and have a look at the closer price action here. So this is all bullish count I'm working with at the moment. The idea is we had that huge run up in momentum here, which we can see in the 3. Okay, here the 3. Of the 3, we've had another huge push up into RSI on the daytime frame here, which is very impressive in terms of it actually goes beyond the 3 of the 3 in terms of the RSI reading, and also beyond the MACD reading for the 3 of the 3. So I find that quite interesting, because normally we would say we get the volume in the 3, right? We saw that quite clearly when we looked at the volume. Don't know why it's gone. Alright, all back here, and now we've got nothing, but we've got this huge RSI and MACD readings. Leaves me a little suspicious, to be honest. A little suspicious of the bullish count. Is it possible we peaked here in a 5 and we've gone 3, 4, 5, and now we've got a huge correction to come? You know, it would seem a bit odd that Cardano could make such a huge retracement while the rest of the crypto space is still moving up, but it was a bit odd that Cardano made a huge move to a newer high while everything else remained in corrective territory. So odd things happen. There seems to be an overriding belief that everything's correlated in the crypto space, but evidently it's not. Alright then, so let's come in and have a look at the interpretation we've got here for the short time frame. We'll come down to the hour for this. So, more detail on the chart in the short term than I would normally ever include, as I'm not particularly interested in counting all the small wave degrees. But I see this as an A, B, C, coming back to the 15 linear, not quite making it in log. So pretty shallow retracement, but we almost made it back to 61.8% of this whole move up in linear scale. The question is, does this move off of the lows here? Does it look impulsive? I'm not sold on it, to be honest. The only way I can make any sense of it at the moment is 5 waves into a 1, expanding flat into a 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves into a 1, W, X, Y into a 2, and then 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's the same kind of massive extension that's building up into a 3, except in this case the count would be an intermediate 3 of the primary 5, because we think we've completed primary 3 and 4. Okay, so in that sense, I'm not so sure about this. So let's have a look at an alternative. An alternate count is that we've got some kind of triangle going on here, and we've still done a wave 1. Okay, and we're going to come down, and this is a zigzag, and this will be a triangle, and then this will be a zigzag into a WXY into a 2. So that's a possibility. All we really be looking for in the meantime is the bullish count should now, if it's correct, extend in a 3 and break this pattern and continue to head higher. If we break this series of higher lows, higher low, low, higher low, higher low, and we move around in here and break out of this, that would be bearish, and I think we'd be coming down to take out this low at that point and continue to head lower. So we've got our 61.8, we haven't made it in linear scale, we've got the 78.6 down here if we were to get a very deep correction. So yeah, I'm not particularly sure at the moment until I see some really convincing bullish behaviour. I'm neutral, is what I'm going to say at the moment. Until I see either bearish or bullish behaviour breaking this pattern, I'm neutral on Cardano at the moment. I can't really call it. I'm starting to lose faith in the interpretation that this is a 3-4 and not part of some bigger pattern. Okay, well, what does he mean when he says that? Let's just hide the alternate count for a minute. So this is just me riffing and thinking aloud. Well, if this is a 3-wave move, and then this is a move, and then this is a much bigger move, and then We could say that this is a 3 into a 4 and the 4's not done. I don't know. Like I said, I'm neutral at the moment until I see some clearer price action. If we continue to step up here, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, building this extension, then I'll remain bullish and we'll throw more weight behind it. And similar to everything else, we've got this series of rising lows. If this trend breaks, we've got this series of contracting highs. It does look kind of like a triangle, supporting that bullish idea, a bearish idea, excuse me. So we'll see if this pattern breaks. If it breaks to the downside, we'll have another flush down, I think. We will have another flush down, and we'll be looking for support, and we'll be looking for reversal conditions as and when they come. Okay, but we'll leave the bullish count on for a moment until this trend breaks. No point in changing our mind. Like I said, I'm pretty neutral. I'm not as bullish as I am looking at XRP there for a minute. Okay, now did we mention the bearish count for XRP? I don't think we did. Let's just come back here quickly. Day time frame. Excuse me. Yeah, we mentioned the idea that perhaps we've got a bigger correction to come into a 2. Right. If I remember, the only bearish interpretation I had for this was an extremely bearish interpretation. Just hide all the moving averages. This count needs to go in with impulse from March 20 low. Okay, let's just have a quick look. Oh yeah, so we need to get rid of that previous count. So yeah, even in this idea, I think I would probably change this now, to be honest. Looking at it, the idea was, we're going to have to look at this in log for it to make the slightest bit of sense. The idea was that we were still in a massive cycle wave 2. This is an age-old count now, and I'm not particularly sure of it at all, which is a 3-wave move down to here. This is going to be a 3-wave swing into here, and then a 5-wave move dump down to here. But it doesn't look much like 3 waves at the minute. It looks like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 to me. It doesn't look like 3 waves at all. Is there any way you could interpret it? You could say A, B, C, and say it's done already. Okay, that would be the only other interpretation. Get rid of this count here. And then what would you be saying there? If you've got a B complete, have you retraced 90%? This can't be a 3-wave move. If you haven't, it'd have to be a 5-wave move, and it'd have to be a zigzag. I don't think we have retraced that 89%. No, we haven't, so that's not valid, so forget that idea. Problem with talking aloud, thinking aloud. For the meantime, trend is up, higher highs, higher lows, trend is holding, still retained within market geometry. I've got no reason to be this bearish at all. I don't know, probably shouldn't have wasted my time looking at that. If there is a more likely bearish count in the short term, then it's more likely a deeper wave 2 correction. So if this is a 1, A, B, C, maybe a bit deeper into a 2, that would be the only real count I think I would be entertaining for the meantime. Let's have a quick look at where I put that. Okay, and we'll save the chart here. And then come back to ADA for a moment. Let's bring up our momentum indicators here as well. See what we can see. Let's just clear the count out the way. We'll add this one into the bullish count. Don't currently have a bearish interpretation other than that alternate move down, that WXY a little lower. Okay, let's just get these trend lines out the way as well. Those are brush marks, we can delete those. Hang on, what did I just take away? That's fine. Save that. Let's bring up our moving averages as well. Okay, come out to the weekly. Right. Okay, so holding a doji candle on the week, bodying directly above the 10 weekly exponential moving average here. Wick down 3 times to the 20, here, here, here. So we're either bottoming, right, and this is 1, to, like I said, all this is A. And we're going B before we finally break all this, come down lower in a C. Okay. What have we got telling us here on the RSI? We've got pretty strong divergence on the weekly time frame on the RSI. Okay. Nowhere near having visited oversold conditions yet. And we have these three higher, I mean it depends where you draw the trend, but the current RSI is still below it no matter where you put it. So we have a high, lower high on the RSI. Meanwhile we have a high, higher high and higher high on Cardano. I mean that's bearish. Between previous price action, current price action, there's strong divergence between this high, and this high. This is a confirmed high, so this is confirmed divergence. So there is strong divergence on the RSI. There's no such thing at all on the MACD. It's just high, 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 higher high. Contradiction in momentum signals here. You know, it's nice when you see them line up, but they're not lining up here. We'll have to wait and see. Let's come down to the daily time frame, see how we're looking. Tangling around the 10 and the 20 and the 60 at the moment. Doesn't look particularly bullish. It looks more like consolidation before falling lower. We've come back to test the 250 on here and here before this big strong move here. So maybe one more test back of the 250 if we're going to continue this trend. If we were to come down and break this, then maybe we can say 3, 4, 5, 1. And we've got a much deeper move to come in Cardano. I know you're probably gonna say there's no way that can happen if the rest of the market's moving up. That's fine. I would point out that while the rest of the market was moving down, Cardano was moving up to new highs. So the opposite things can occur. Okay, so I think that's all we've really got time for to look at XRP and Cardano. So let's come over and look at, like I said, look at the Shib chart. So this is funny, isn't it? Weekly time frame. So we have got a move down, a move across, and a move up. Alright, so I don't think we can do any Elliott wave analysis on the weekly time frame, can we? There's nothing to look at here. Let's come down to the daily. Let's come down to 2 hour. Okay, pull it into log. Oh my god, when you click the log button and it doesn't change anything. There's no help at all. So the first thing we've got to do, guys, if we're going to navigate this chart at all, is find the bloody low. Is it here? Oh, here it is. So we've got to get a low in place first before we can work from a low. We can worry about how we corrected down here later. It's not going to make the slightest bit of sense in log or linear scale in terms of wavelength relationships anyway. 24th. Here's a second. Here's the first dip. That was the dip I brought, and this is the secondary dip that I saw as confirmation before we moved higher. And then we've just exploded. So let's not stress ourselves over this, and let's just try and make this simple. We're going to say 1, 2. Do we get an overlap? I have to come in here and say 3, 4, 5. Do we get an overlap? Yes, get a massive overlap, so scrub that. So let's say, is it a diagonal? No, doesn't look like a diagonal. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves, but with an overlap. Maybe we need to come down smaller time frame again. Can we pick out a move here that makes sense? 1, 2. I'm not so sure. Maybe there's a 3, 4 in here? I don't know. Let's just say then 1, 2. Let's just move these out of the way for the moment. Ooh, damn, I don't really know what to do with that. This is so low volume here and so low market cap. I'm not even sure we can get Elliott wave structures out of this. you know, I don't think there's any use doing this at the moment, so I think the only thing I could do is say primary pivot here, low pivot here. That's the best I can do for the 1 or a 2. I can't really explain this. There does seem to be 5 ways with an overlap. Maybe it's a diagonal, but that's about the best I can do. Let's just shift this up to a higher degree. Let's say primary for the moment. I would argue, given the explosive move we're dealing with here, that this is some kind of wave 3. So let's just put a 3 up here, put a 4 down here somewhere, and 5 over here. Could be a completed move. Alright, so can we make any sense of this? Is this a 3-wave move to another low? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A zigzag, A, B, C. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh Jesus, what is this? 1, 2, A, 1, A, B, C. Very deep 2. Then another 1, 2. 1, 2, bum bum bum. Okay, you know what? I'm not saying it's any such thing, but I need more room, so I'm just going to shift this around. Okay, so otherwise I'm just going to run out of room here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a triangle. Finally, something which looks like a structure. That's a structure, triangle. That's the only structure I've been able to clearly identify yet. That's a flat, I think. That's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 within a 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say 1. No, that's a 0, you plonker. Let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again. We've got to try and make this an extension in the 3, because otherwise, look at it, it's not going to make the slightest bit of sense if we don't. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. I think that will work. This looks like another triangle. This is a flat. This looks like another triangle. Okay, give me a benefit of the doubt, guys. We're dealing with a very, very small, well, very, very low volume. It's starting to pick up structure here, though, as the volume picks up. I will say that. Everything prior to that is just dog shit. Just awful. From an Elliottian point of view, you just can't pick out clear structures. It's just too extreme a move. 3, 4, 5. 3, 4. Does that make any sense? W, X, no, I don't even know. W, X, Y, X, Z, 2? Or is it just this is a truncation and this is an A, B, C? What would we be saying this is? We'd be saying this is a zigzag. So this would have to be W, X, Y. Fine, I can live with that. 5 into A, B, C, running flat pattern. It's the best we're going to get. 3. What did we say we had at primary degree? A zigzag. Fine. Into a flat. 4. Or is it a zigzag and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Or is this an expanding flat? I don't know. I haven't got a foggiest. Let's just throw a 5 up here and say 3. Okay, so a major wave 3. This is what it looks like. Look at the volume. Excuse me. Look at the volume. This is a wave 3 all day. Wave 3. Weird getting the structure out of the top because it's just we can't even use log scale. We're in log scale. There is no difference. That's how extreme these two moves are. But look at the volume in here. So this points to being a wave 3. RSI completely off the chain. MACD completely off the chain. Here and here. You know, how far away are we from these moving averages on the daily? I don't. I'm probably still all on the floor. Yeah, look at this volume coming in here. It's crazy. and then the RSI made it to 96. So there, this is a free, and we've got a 10, 20, 60. The 250 doesn't exist because we haven't got a long enough time frame, because it literally hasn't been around for 250 days, so we don't have a chart, we don't have a moving average for the chart. We're going to pull back into all this, we have to here. I mean, look at the size of this bearish candle here on the daily, Jesus. Bearish bar on the volume reading, I should say. Let's come down to the 2 hour again. Try and make a bit more sense. Volume dropping off. Huge step up here. Volume now dropping off. We've come back to the 60 on the 2 hour. How's the 4 hour looking? Hanging around the 20 on the 4 hour. It looks like an initial move down, doesn't it? I'd argue. So you've had an initial move. You're going to have a correction. You're going to have another move down. It should be pretty substantial, I would have thought. You've got to correct an absolutely insane move. Can we come down to 15 and see if there's any structure here at all? Turn the volume off, turn the moving averages off, get rid of these indicators. Is there any structure here at all? Is this free and this free? If that is, okay, there's one possibility here. 5, 3, one bullish possibility, I should say. And that is 3 waves into an A, 3 waves into a B, 5 waves into a C, and you're done. Amazingly, you've done a 4 already with a retracement. Not a retracement, take it from this peak. You give up 41.2% in a few hours. A pretty big move down. I'd expect to see an even bigger move down, but that is a bullish possibility. So maybe you've got an A, B, C and you complete, and you're leveling up again into a series of 1 and 2s again. Alright, if that's the case, this thing should take off and moon again. And we're going 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, boom, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. So keep an eye on it. It's possible it's completed. If not, if it's not completed, it would be A, B to come up here somewhere, C to come much lower. So I'd expect to move back up either way in the short term. I'm going to save the chart there. That's the best I can do. I'm sorry if it's not particularly impressive from an Elliott wave point of view. The start here is just a straight line, so give me a goddamn break. Okay, can't make sense of any of this until we get into this obviously impulsive move, and this is impulsive all the way. So, and it looks strong enough, big enough, proud enough, angry enough to be a wave 3. So that's what I'm going to call it. It's a wave 3, and there you go. We'll say that's a Shib for the moment. So we've covered XRP. Sorry, I'm so indifferent on Cardano at the moment. Very tricky price action. Really, I'm not sure. We'll remain bullish on XRP for as long as these lows hold, and I think we've completed a super cycle here, but that's because I needed room. So I could probably, I would downgrade all of this. I would downgrade this to primary, this to intermediate. So this is probably a primary 3 we've done with a 4 and a primary 5 to come into a cycle 1. It depends if we take out the previous all-time high, which if this kind of volume re-enters the market, or just a fraction of it, there could be easily enough to take out the previous all-time high, I think. So we'll have to wait and see. Alright guys, thank you for joining me on this technical analysis of a few altcoins. If you're new to the channel, you like what you've seen, please subscribe, smash the like, hit the little bell notification icon to remain informed of future video releases. And if you feel like it, leave us a comment in the comment section below. If you don't bother. Thank you as always to my Patreon subscribers. Your support is greatly appreciated. And I'll be back with you guys probably next week now. All the best. Enjoy the weekend. Take care. Bye bye.